Nonprofits are tricky because we define them by what they're not. They are not organizations seeking a profit, but what are they? They tend to be organizations that are seeking to make the world better organizations, or I would argue nonprofits in the United States are actually the humanities in action. A theory of change for a nonprofit is, how are we going to make the difference that we want to see in the world? Take the University of Kansas, where we sit today. It is a nonprofit, as are most universities in the US. What are they here for? What is their theory of change? Their theory of change is that research, for its own sake, can change the world. Consider Albert Einstein. If he were working for a corporation, he might have made terrific technological strides, but he probably would not have come up with a theory of relativity. That kind of really incredible world-changing research tends to happen better outside of a profit motive and a quarterly result. But then when you think of a small nonprofit that is seeking to make a change, their theory of change is incredibly important because they're tiny and they don't have a lot of resources, either money or time. So how do they make that decision? My project here at the Hall Center is to look at how scholarship informs theories of change, or could inform theories of change for small nonprofits in general in the United States. What does that look like? Well, here at the University of Kansas, in the humanities, we have David Farber and Beth Bailey, who I was lucky enough to work with on this wonderful book when I worked for another nonprofit, the University Press of Kansas. They are looking at social movements and how change happens in the United States. Similarly, David Rediger, our foundation professor in American Studies, Clarence Lang, the head of African and African American Studies here at KU, and also the interim director of the Hall Center. All of these scholars have done work that will tell us what has worked and what hasn't worked empirically. And while past is not always prologue, there's no question that lessons from the past can inform and shortcut to what might work in the future and right now.